Hello everybody. Good evening. I'm Dominic. How's everybody tonight? Calm after a good little meditation. So, it's very nice to be back on a normal temperature after a heat wave of a couple of days. I'm sure you felt the pressure related to the topic tonight. Actually, recently I went talking about pressure. This is topic for tonight, and it's very interesting because I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room can feel pressure at one moment or the other. You know, we all feel pressure, or we all feel that someone wants to put pressure on us, and that pressure we can feel it. And when we don't, we can actually feel like we're in between two worlds. When we don't feel that pressure, we can actually feel pressure all the time because our body puts pressure on us with gravity to be on, staying on the ground at all times. So pressure is something we're a little used to, and something we that we had to live for so many years, so long. We almost feel that, what is pressure, So it's so obvious. But I was for a visit at my doctor the other day, and then, just for a routine visit, and, just trying to do a little checkup to see if everything was fine. And so he said, well, why not take a blood test? So I go for a blood test, and a month after, tells me that, everything is okay, but you have high blood pressure. So I said, okay, high blood pressure. So what is high blood pressure? What does it do to you, high blood pressure? And he's starting to talk about high blood pressure and the problem that it could cause over a long period of time. And it says, this is what you could do, this is what you could do. And he's starting to give me a list of prescription to what to do in order to lower my blood pressure, and he's like, you could become vegetarian. I says, okay. Well, I'm already vegetarian, so okay. Well, you could stop alcohol, Well, I don't drink. I haven't drank for 16 years, so, well, okay. So, and you could, you're not overweight, so it's not because you're overweight, so it's no, okay. So you don't have to lose weight because... And then I'm like, you performing any sport? Yes, I play tennis quite often. So okay, no sport. So he's running out of option. What is it that he's going to do to lower my blood pressure? And he finally finds something. I should stop eating salt. So I tried that, and for the last 2 months I stopped eating salt, and everything has like pretty much tastes pretty bland with no salt, eh? So when you start eating with no salt, it's like food has a different appealing. It's like, okay, that's food without fun also. So you got to adjust to what you want to do. If you want to be healthy and you want to do things in order to be healthy, as it's you need to see in perspective, what's my highest objective? Is this to have fun with my food? Is this to enjoy my food as much as I can? And then health is like a second in priority, or I like my health better than enjoying my food, or the taste of food. So I sort of had to, for me it was clear, I pretty much wanted to be healthier, and have that was my objective there. I wanted to be healthy. So in order to do that, I had to sort of sacrifice and give up on some of the stuff. And I had to think, okay, so that's going to need some adjustments. And this is like, and when you cook food, there's also part of your food that could be pre-cooked, like sauces or other stuff that you add into your food, but it's already sort of pre-made, So all of that is sure filled with sodium and salt, which you have to put away. So it actually needs some work on your part when you want something. So that made me think, when we feel pressure, where's that coming from? where does pressure coming from? You know, the pressure we have in our life, and that I'm not talking about the blood pressure, of course, but it's just an example. But when we feel pressure in our daily life, where is it coming from? What do you think it's coming from? Hmm? Your thoughts?
That are influenced by the outside.
Okay. Thoughts that are influenced, but more like a concrete, precise example. What would be a precise example of where the pressures? Social standards, of course. You know, people want us to act, to behave a certain way, and when we don't, they might get upset. You know, they might tell you. Like some people expect you to open the door in front of them. You know, and if you don't, they might be offended by that. Some don't, depending on different culture and different point of view and different mindset that people have, you know, they created in their own belief system, in their own mind. So, of course, thoughts, but it's also coming from the outside as a social expectations. But we also have some coming from us. So how do we actually ourselves put pressure in our life? Where's it coming from when, other than thoughts? I understand thoughts, but it's very obvious. But more of a precise, pinpoint example.
I must do that.
The I must, eh? It's interesting. So we do have a lot of I must for the people that are, you know, action-based doers. They like the to-do list, and they like things when they're done, and so what they do is they have their own mind list of what to do, and then come the must. I must do that. But where's that coming from? The I must.
Well, I must cut this out. It comes from the doctor.
But that's more the blood pressure. But for the feeling that we have, you know, because sorry. Expectations comes from expectations. Standards, our expectations. Insecurities. Relief? Beliefs. Goals. I think we're getting nearer. What else? Where's it coming from? Values.
It doesn't meet the values, though it stresses you.
Yeah. So when what we do or what we think doesn't meet our values, or what we perform, or what we say doesn't meet our values, put pressure.
Sometimes it comes from our ego.
Our ego can create pressure. How can our ego can create pressure?
Well, if I'm a big, for example, performer, I'm a perfectionist, and I would have that pressure to always perform at a certain level, always to be perfect.
The way I used to show myself to the world, the way I used to present myself to the world, is like I used to reach a certain standard, and I'm used to be that good or present myself in a certain way, or be as pretty in a certain way. So I used to be, you know, always well dressed and have proper clothing and to be well arranged, and then eventually, you know, when I get out and I didn't put my makeup on, or my haircut isn't, and my clothing is not perfect, and I feel pressure. I'm gonna get out to the grocery. Oh, I need to get some stuff to the grocery, and I said, oh, I can't get out like that. It's not right. You know, in my pajama or in my t-shirt, it's not right. So I'm starting to feel anxious. I'm starting to have a certain feeling about that, just because I have ego. But it doesn't relate to that when I'm thinking about it. I'm like, just that, well, it's normal. You know, it's natural to present yourself well and to the rest of the world. So very often the way we feel, it's constructed with something we want and something we believe in. And the pressure that we feel every day comes from everywhere, within ourselves and within the culture that surrounds us, and the people that surrounds us. So pressure comes from, you know, of course, a difference and a gap between about what we want to present or what we want to be and what people want to see or what we think people want to see. So there's a difference there. But also there's a difference between what we want or what our goal is and what's actually is happening. And that also puts pressure in us, because when we want something and we can't get it, there's pressure. If I want something and I can't get it, there's always pressure. And more we're time sensitive, more pressure there is. So more we want something quick and done fast, more there's pressure to make it happen. And when it doesn't happen, what's happening? Of course, because difference between reality and what I want. I don't get what I want, So it's very easy to get upset because, I didn't get what I wanted. And very often, do we always get what we want? I mean, I see that all the time. People upset all the time. They want something, they can't get it. And now it becomes pretty much way more obvious than it used to be, because everything is available now. And everything seems to be available. And people think that because everything is available means they can get it. And when they can't get it, everybody get upset. Because everything seems to be existing now. And when I can't get what I want, exactly the little thing that I want, I go mad. So I own a store, and you should see the amount of people that can't get what they want, And I got,
What's that product?
like a product that they want, whatever product that they want or specific product that they want, and you of course can suggest another that is similar, but no, this is what they want. And when you can't get what you want, what's happening? You're upset. You're frustrated, because for sure it would be easier if they would get it here, not into another store elsewhere where they're going to have to go in their car and drive another 20 minutes or another 45 minutes to get it. So what they would have liked to have is to get it now, not in 45 minutes, but to get it now. So because there's a lot of expansion into our thoughts and capacity to obtain everything, now we think that the world is meant to give us everything we need. And it's a little true. The problem is what exactly we want. The problem is what exactly is the list of desire that we actually do to ourselves, that we build in ourselves. And the first tool I'd like to talk about is try to detach yourself every day for a certain period of time. Detach yourself like a detached observer, like you're a soul and you're watching your life from a different perspective. Like you're meditating, but it's like you're detaching a little bit of yourself from your life. It's like you're looking at yourself in your perspective of your daily routine with your friends, with your career, with your work. And you look at it and says, okay, if I'd be someone else looking at myself, how would I describe my desires? What do I want? And I can actually have a few categories of desires, because you can have needs, that are a little more related to the body. So I can have a list of needs that I have that are a little more related to this physical body that we have. But I could also, make a list of two different categories of desires, which are desires of the mind and desires of the soul or the heart. So let's say we have three categories of needs or desires. And I'd like to give you this as an homework, this week, just for a week, to work as 7 days. Just to check every day, take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to make a list. Try to go deeper into that list. Try to see, what is exactly that I need, that this body need, in order for me to be happy. You see, so I have needs, and in the winter, of course, I need a roof. It'd be easier, it'd be warm, and some eating device. Otherwise, it's going to be pain. So I don't want to feel pain. So what exactly that I need? Need. It's one list. Needs is more for the body, like for the physical body, and on the second column, I'd like you to also write down what are the desires of my soul, my heart. What is it exactly that I want from my heart, you see? And what exactly also I want from my mind. What does my mind want? Because the mind comes from constructed. The desire from the minds are a little more constructed, you see? Like the mind will have a desire of a beautiful car. So why would I want a beautiful car? I could have a useful car, a reliable car that's going to get me to point A to B, in a cheaper way. But my mind, in the other hand, wants a very pretty car. And I'd like to get that for some reason. So my mind is building also has a list of desire. And we also want a bunch of things that are constructed with, people around us. Oh, look at this guy. He's got like all of this on his, on his field, and he's got nice flowers. And look at the brick in front of his house. It's so nice. Why don't I change my brick? It would be so much prettier. And the windows at my house would be so much prettier if they would be black. And now they're like a little old. So I construct some desire from my mind that are totally constructed with what exactly? So I'd like us to make like some sort of a homework this week, just to observe ourselves, not to criticize it, but just to see it. See what's built and what we actually want from a pure heart and what's been constructed in our own mind. To see the difference between the two of them, and actually between the three of them. Because some people want like a very beautiful house, and some could really do well in a little apartment, which is clean, but it's going to do the same, really. I need a roof, I need some heating, I need water, I need somewhere to clean. So in my whole life, I have relationships. I have work. I have people asking me stuff. I have a lot of things that are involved with my desires, because I sit in a community. I am living in a community. And because I live in a community, I'm colored by this community. I'm influenced by this community. And very often your desire will be influenced by your community. It's not even your desire, but they're constructed in your mind. It's not even yours. But it's not very clear what our desires are, like what are desires from our heart, what are the desires from our mind. It's not always clear. And when it's not clear, we seem to be, interested by others, and we seem to be shopping with others' desire. And after a while, we find them really interesting, and we develop them. But when we do that, we seem to be doing stuff after to actually be able to attain and to reach those desires, and that will be putting pressure on us. A lot of pressure. And more we have desires, the more it puts pressure. So in order to understand the level of pressure that we feel, and it's mainly unconscious, and it's very, very often subconscious and unconscious pressure, because we think it's normal, we think it's like obvious, but it's not. If you travel a little bit of the world, you'll feel that in some countries we live completely different from how we live here, completely different into so many ways. But because we're here, we think there's only one way to live your life. Only a very specific way. It's make a lot of money so then you can retire and you can be comfortable and stop working, and whatever is the buildup of your imagination or your belief system or your what's constructed in your mind, you're going to be wanting to get it. So spiritually, there's also a sort of an understanding to improve with our spiritual journey. Because spiritual journey will help us see better, have a better quality over the desire of the heart and the desire of the mind. And because you've been meditating a lot, because you've been looking at yourself a lot in the mirror of the soul and meditation, you're going to be able to do that homework, to be realizing and go deeper into what exactly do I want. And more you do that work, more you can separate it, more you can see it during the day when you want an unconscious desire or unconscious pressure to attain something. And then you can relate better to it. You can see it. When it comes to you, you can see it coming. But when you don't think of it, it's just easy to get eaten by it, to get pushed by it without you really feeling you have power over it. You feel it's normal, so you don't really think about it, but it's normal. It's normal to do this. It's normal to, to buy this or to get this or to say this because it's normal. How many times we say it's normal into what we do? No? You're like, oh, I froze you all. AC works too much. I don't know. Or I'm too...
Don't use that expression that means that much.
True. Some do, some don't. But it's like very often we say, well, it's when we have an expectation over something and someone doesn't do it, or someone doesn't act the way we want them to act. We say, well, but it's normal. They should do it. Like they should stop at a stop sign. It's normal, Or how many time, you go in a restaurant, I don't know, there's a lineup and someone comes and cut you and go in front. Well, it's normal to wait. For them, it's not. But for you, it is normal. But there's millions of ways to do things that are all different from each other. And for us, there's a specific construction of normalities. And when that isn't met by people around us or us, there's pressure. We can feel the pressure of them or us to comply. To comply in that, act in a certain way. So my big, not question, but my big question is how do we be more aware of the different desires and needs that we have? How we can become more aware of that, and how can we change from that? How we can actually see ourselves better into this? Because what happened is that when you have a desire and it puts a pressure in our life because we want it, we want to achieve it, what does it do really is that we become impatient. And when you become impatient and you want something now or sooner than later, you want to force it. And when you want to force it, you sort of feel that maybe the universe didn't want to give it to you right away, but you have to wait. And you're like, I don't want to wait. But you have to wait. And like, why do I want to wait? I did everything I should have done to get it, but I don't get it. So why do I don't get it? So and then what you do is you push and you put pressure. What do you put pressure on? Yourself and on people around you. And when you still put pressure and it doesn't work, you get upset, you get frustrated, you get, So very often this is what the desire creates, when the wrong desires gets created. But if we align the right desire, what does a right desire would be? A desire from the heart. What's an example of desire from the heart? What's a pure desire from the heart?
Well, working on yourself, to become more at peace.
Mm-hmm.
You're
to work on yourself, to become more in peace with yourself. Would that be a desire from the heart?
Yeah.
Feel peace and love.
To feel peace and love and love?
To see people as souls.
Mm-hmm. To see a better themselves than maybe people are judging them. And sometimes people judge people in a bad way. So when you see people as souls, it's like we see a better person as a better self. So what else? What's a true desire from the heart?
To give or love with no expectation.
Mm-hmm. To give and or love with no expectations. Oh, that's a big word.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally. No expectations. That is big. No expectations. I don't know if you realize that, but no expectations. This is
Rare.
something.
It's an ongoing practice.
Struggle.
No, I think no.
Be real. This is a struggle to love. You're
You need to
in.
meditate more.
I've been meditating for years, and I get myself caught into a feeling when someone aggresses you, like doesn't behave they should be doing. I don't know. You're in a lineup. You're in your car, and you're waiting to enter, and there's a big lineup. And you have to wait your turn, otherwise it's going to be chaos. So you wait your turn, but eventually someone just. And how do you feel?
I
Unfair.
changed that around though.
No, I feel well. But I worked on it. Like I worked on it. It took me a while, but I feel well. I
Yeah.
send them love.
That's good. Depending on how you feel during that day. If you woke up well and everything went well that morning, it's like the sunshine is there. But if a couple of things happened before, or you didn't have time to have your proper smoothie or your coffee, and then you rushed to work, and then maybe you had a flat tire, and then you're in a little rush, and then you need to get there, and then someone comes. And maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe it'll be, I had to wait for so long. You got a word to. But if everything goes well, you can go. But it's not always the case. It will happen at a certain time where we don't feel perfect. And that person will cut you, and you'll be like,
Yeah, but you can feel irritated just for a second and then
Yes.
you move on.
I'm just saying that, yes, some days are easy. Everything gets cool. You had a good meditation. Nobody bothers you. But will be those days where you will have to work on yourself for that. And I agree with you. It's just that there's always a sort of a. It's like the yogi way, the yogi way of looking at things. The yogi way of looking at things it's like the spiritual way, is the soul conscious way to look at things. The way to look at things with another perspective, and into a sort of a detached, perspective. And you can even look at yourself being upset, and it's fine too to be upset, because you realize, and when you see it, you realize you have something to transform, and it's beneficial. If you don't see it, you can't do it. So for me, I don't think there's something wrong to be upset, but you should have sort of the reflex to be able to see yourself at that time and to see, what's wrong with this? And then to change it. And very often it's a buildup. All of that becomes from a buildup of belief that we've been building and building and building and building for so many years. And these beliefs, they're not all good, but we sit on them. It's like the foundation of the way we construct our judgment system. It's like right, wrong, good, bad. This is good, this is wrong. And very often we watch situations and there's like, this is good, this is wrong, this is good. And how many times do you have to do this in a day? Like thousands of times. Yeah, what's wrong and what's right, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. There's always a constant movement of decision that your intellect has to make, has to do at all time during the day.
That's bad, that's good.
It's not bad, but you have to do it.
It's a good pressure.
It's you have to do it. But that is based on your belief system. Your judgment is based on everything you believe in. But the thing is, what if your belief system has a portion that is not accurate? What if on your belief system there's some beliefs that are not absolutely accurate? You might judge in a wrong way what's happening to you or what you're confronted with. So what I'm saying is looking at desires and the pressure is one way to look at yourself. To look always at this pile of desires that you have to see if they're accurate, if they're good or not. And to always relate to the type of needs or desire that it is. Is it coming from a good desire or if it comes from a constructed desire? And what if I don't get that desire? What if I don't attain that desire? What is that going to do to me? So it could be okay. You have long-term desire, you're not attached to them, so you place them, you have some sort of an intention to it, but you also can leave it in the law of the universe. And it says, well, one day it'll come back to me. When? I don't know. So the pressure goes off a little. You sort of put your intention out there, it's like placed, and it's thrown. And then eventually, if it's pure, it'll be presented to you as a way to achieve a higher desire, if it's meant to be happening. But do we know what's the best for us at all the time? At all time? Do we know what's the best for us at all time? Absolutely not. Sometimes something happened to us and we're so upset and so frustrated. I don't know, like it's something, a pain, or we lose our job, or our car breaks or something, and then you never know. It was a big accident and you missed it, but you were so upset when your car broke, and you couldn't get there on time. You were so upset because you wanted, and then finally it was a big accident there and you missed it, and you get to live. So very often, it's a easy example, but very often in life, in so many ways, we want to force ourselves to sort of shape the life in which we are into without a bigger consideration, thinking that we should be the master of this. But we're not, to be honest. We're not. We sort of want everything. We sort of want, all of us wants the same thing. What do we want? Love? Peace? Happiness? Harmony? It's very simple. What we really want is very simple. But we build on that.
Isn't most people are not approaching life in this way? Are most people approaching life, they want money?
I think everybody wants that, but they get caught into another layer of desire that seems to be more attracting for a period of time. Because whoever you ask to, they will all tell you that they want peace and love and happiness. It's just they don't do it, they don't act accordingly. They're all going to tell you that they want to feel happy and peaceful. They're all going to tell you this, but they don't act accordingly. They don't do it.
Well, according to them, they do, because they go out and spend money, and they figure if they have the money or the nice car, they will be happy.
Yes. And when they don't get it, they feel unhappy, and then they don't know why.
That's it. So they think
Exactly.
that's the way of getting it.
So how can you act accordingly?
So everything is in the awareness, and to know yourself, and to see, and to be able to observe yourself into any situation, even your own reflection on things, and to be able to see yourself with a sort of a detached view, with a different perspective and angle. So then you can actually judge yourself not being yourself, but watching at yourself. So you can actually, because when you are yourself and you're trying to judge yourself, you have so many things attached to you that are emotionally attached to, that it's very hard to, to attach you. It's like you're going to, to the hospital with your husband or your wife or your brother or your sister, someone you really, really love, and then you go to the doctor and they tell you, well, I'm sorry to say your brother has cancer. Man, you're going to be destroyed. Totally destroyed. It's so hard. But if you are detached from that person, it's your neighbor, your fifth neighbor, and you just happen to know by your next door neighbor that your fifth door neighbor has cancer. Well, it's not really cool. Well, you're going to wonder yourself, well, I know a lot of people have cancer. And another one. Is that going to really affect me? Not really. I don't feel great, but it's not going to affect me. But if my sister or my brother, I happen to know, well, so it's a little the same thing when we judge ourselves being ourselves. We are so emotionally attached to our belief that we think they're the best, the absolutely best, and we can't change that because we're so emotionally attached to them. And being a yogi, the job of being a yogi is to be able to have that perspective, to build that perspective, and to see that, okay, when I meditate, I can actually detach and observe and watch my life and to observe my life and to see when I look at myself in an elevated way, I see I have this relationship with that person, I have this relationship with that person, and you can actually feel that what's in there. You can actually list, detail a little better than if I'm in it, that I can't see it, so I'm not in the water, I'm like outside the water. So I can actually have a better feeling of myself doing that. So in the exercise of making a list for our needs and desires for the mind and desires from the heart and the soul, it's actually easier when I look at myself into a detached way. So then I can observe it and it says, what is it that I want that was constructed that I don't really want? When I look at my heart doesn't really want that, but my mind wants it. And then once you have that list, you don't need to work on everything, but you can ask yourself, why do I want that? Why am I wanting this? Because the more I want things, more I'm going to have to build, to work for it. And that means I'm going to have to pressure it, because more I want it now, more I want it like sooner than later, more I'm going to have to put pressure on myself. So pressure is the way that we do and that we act in time in order to change sort of what's happening to us, to shape it into a different way that the universe wants to give it to us. The universe has a plan, and every day it's being presented to us. No matter what we do, it's been presented to us. And everything that is presented to us has benefits for us. Or I like to believe that. I like to believe that no matter what I do, whatever is presented to me, it's for my own benefit. So which angle am I going to look at whatever is happening to me that may look negative, that may look hurtful, that may look painful, but how could I actually look at it so then I don't increase pressure, I just release the pressure. So instead of looking at this event like I want it to be my way, I'm going to welcome it and seeing it as, what is the benefit in this thing for me? What am I going to learn? Even though it's painful and hard. I work with someone at work, and he just had a big surgery in his mouth, and it was so hard. And he got infected, and they did the whole bone plant thing, opened the whole inside, anyway, it was hell. And that thing got infected. It was just excruciating pain for a week, And for all these days, the only thing you could look at is like how to, but the more you're looking at how you don't deserve it and how it's putting negativity into your life, more painful it is. You're just making the pain more painful. So in order to because sometimes it's not always positive. Not everything that happens to us is great and it's beautiful and it's great. We don't win the lottery every day. We don't get the better job every day. We don't get the new car every day. We don't get to feel completely great every day. Sometimes we have our days that life presents us something that we would have liked to avoid. Please, not today. I don't want that. Can you move it? No, but it's not like you can. It's like in your face. You take it, you have to. Life is just giving it to you. And then you feel pressure. You feel pressure because what? Because you didn't want that. What is it that you want? And in order to feel less pressure in those times, is to be able to accept and to see that everything that's going to be presented to you has a benefit. And everything that I want to do have to have a benefit. Because it's in your own power to create something that has benefits. So in order to create the benefits for you and others, why don't you ask yourself every time you have even one thought, is that thought beneficial for me and for others? This is what I use very often in my own life. Then how is that beneficial? How is that beneficial? I must be asking this question like at least 2,000 times a day. Is this beneficial? Is this beneficial? What is beneficial? What is good in this? What is good in this? What am I doing good or not? Why am I saying it if it's not good? What am I creating if it's not beneficial for someone? Am I wasting my time for nothing? This precious time, like it's given to me as a gift. So this is a really good tool. This is an amazing tool. And actually look at what's beneficial. Even if it's hard, there's a benefit. Even if it's hard, there's a benefit. Even if it's small, there's a benefit. And I'd like you to think of benefits. Benefits. This is a word like you should be in your mind at all time. Benefits. Beneficial, benefits. Like I want to have beneficial thoughts for myself and others. I don't want to create a thought that will hurt someone or is not beneficial for someone. Why would I do that? There's like so many options of beneficial thoughts that I could have. Why would I want one that is not beneficial? And every time you have a beneficial thoughts, it means you're going to create something positive and you're going to invest. You create something good out of it. There's something good that's being created right now, And sometimes we're like, we get tired, so, it's late or it was a hard day and a lot of people took our energy and, vampired us. And I'm sure it didn't happen to you. It happens to me sometimes. I'm sure none of you are affected by vampires. People that don't know how to create their own good energy and they just go close to you when they get your attention and they want to talk to you and they ask you questions. When you get, they look at you in the eye and they want more from you. You're sort of like, get away from me. I know what you want. Get away from me. And they want like... And eventually you can't say no all the time and you get vampired and then at the end of the day and you're like, and you're tired. So, what do you think?
I just have a question. When you talk about desire, so let's say, you have this desire, and then you figure out, well, this is what I want, and then you figure out the reason I wanted it is because it makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But why does it make you feel good?
Exactly. Go further. Go deeper into your mind, into your reflection. And what kind of feel good? What level of feel good is it? Is it a soul feel good? Is it a body feel good? Is it a temporary feel good? Is that an instantaneous feel good? Or is it like a deep feeling of love feel good? Like I'm helping someone and I make this person feel good, so it makes me feel good. Or I buy myself an ice cream, it makes me feel good. Different feel good. You see? I don't mean to say that it's bad to buy an ice cream. I don't want to say that on TV. So, but why do we, and if I want that and I got no money right now and I'm stuck somewhere where I have no money or no place to buy it, it'll be a little upset, frustration, So, and then there's different level in everything we want, different level of upsetting or frustration or irritation that we have in everything we want. So more we are aware of it, the only thing I'm saying is more we are aware of it, more we can go back to the right one. More we can go back to the appreciation of what you have, to the appreciation of what you want, to the appreciation of what you can do in order to grow what's good for you, what's really, really good for you. And what's really, really good for you, and what makes the soul happy. Because the soul is untemporary. The body has a limited lifetime, but the soul doesn't. It's energy. So the more you create that true feeling of and that deep feeling of love, it's not going away. It's like it's a solid base, not going away feeling, instead of having a momentaneous happiness with an ice cream and then it's stop again. Nothing wrong with the ice cream again. It's just I like the example of the ice cream, but
that's okay.
Of course, everything is okay. Everything is okay.
As long as you don't live your life that way.
As long as you live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm just throwing food for thoughts. So then when we are meditating, we can actually have more options to what we can do. And the idea is to go deeper, because don't take anything for granted. This is only thoughts that I'm sending you, so then you can actually go deeper in your own churning, in your own reflection of yourself, understanding of yourself, of who you are really. And when you understand who you are really, which is a tiny dot of energy, this is who you are. You're not this body. You're not this. You live in it. You have a very, very close relationship with your body. I agree with that. And it's so intimate, you think you are this body. It's why, majority of people wants to enjoy their body so much, because they think they are their body. But you're not. You have this body, this great gift. And very often we feel so intimate with it, we feel like we're the same. Well, we are this body. We're not. We have this great body in order to live our experiences, but we're not. And when you get to meditate, you get to realize that you are not. Your energy, energy of peace, an energy of love, which is greater than anything else. And when you feel it, you know about it. When you feel that energy, it's bigger than any ice cream you can get. You know that. The deep feeling of pure love is greater than anything else. You wouldn't trade that with anything else once you experience the true feeling of true love. And when you meditate, I'd say in order to see better in ourselves, I'd say use a tool. The best tool I use personally is to create, to connect myself with the perfect example, the perfection, the source, the one, the divine, the supreme. Call it whatever you want, It's this entity, this soul that has no breach, that is perfect. And when I connect to this, I feel already clearer. I feel already that, I can feel myself even deeper just by thinking of that soul. So, and then you get to see yourself better with with a different angle. So I'd say many tools we've talked about tonight, many tools, I think probably too much, But I'd like you to, if you can, this week, if you can do that, if you want to do that, and spend at least 10 minutes a day to make that list. 3 columns. One is your needs, one is your, desire from the heart, desire from the mind, or constructed desires. Make that list. And then more you're gonna be performing your daily activities, you're gonna be able to see, and what am I doing now? I'm spending so much time for my needs, so much time for my constructed desires, and I spend very little time for my heart desires. How much time am I spending thinking that I love this person, or I'm sending love to this person, or et cetera, or respecting myself, or improving my self-esteem, or improving the quality of who I am, the happiness, the quality of the happiness that I live. How much time am I investing into that field of desire? Maybe not enough.
Question. Like how you said divide them into categories, but it's like, for example, career. Could it fall into 2 categories, not only one, or
It's just an exercise. It doesn't mean to be 3 different categories. It's just an exercise to look at ourselves into a different way, just for a week. And then to have a different view of understanding what do we do when we do things during the day? Where is it coming from? Like we want to live this activity, we want to be entertained, we want to go see a movie, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to call a friend. Everything we do in our daily life.
How can you distinguish if this is for your physical, or is it for your mental? Like, how can you distinguish?
But that's the exercise. You have to think about it. That's the whole exercise.
Like me performing well at job, it can be subjective because...
Exactly. But you have to do your own. You have to think, and you have to see for yourself. You have to introspect and to see where is it coming from. Also, I have that desire to perform well at work. Where's that coming from? What do I want from that? And what am I going to get if I perform well at work? That's a good example. So if I want to perform well at work, why am I wanting that? Maybe I want to be recognized better by my peers. Maybe it's because I am a quality-oriented person and I like things to be made in quality, and that's all. But when nobody tells me, I feel upset. Oh, so maybe it's not because I like quality, it's because maybe I want to be recognized. So if you go deeper, you'll see the root of that desire, of what exactly you want. Underneath that level of desire, you're going to see deeper, and you see why am I doing this?
And what can you do with your understanding?
And once you understand better, when you act according to this, you can actually change if it's not what you want. Because you see it. Wow. Because when you actually can point it, you can actually look at yourself as, is it really what I want? I do it all the time, but is it really what I want? And you can actually try to think about it. And by thinking about it, eventually when it happens during the day, you can start slowly a process of changing it if it's not what you want. If it's what you want, it's fine, you can keep it. But maybe it's not what you want, but you're doing it sort of unconsciously. You see what I mean? Or subconsciously. So it's just a way to work on yourself, to see if you're well aligned with your true self. You're well aligned with what you're going to do, your main focus on every day. Is it according to make your soul happy? Or is it to obtain more matter, more physical comfort, more ego, more pride? What is it that you're going to attain if you do this? What is it that you're going to get? And if it's not aligned to your true self, which is understanding that your soul, it will put pressure. It will be something that maybe sometimes you're not meant to have every day, but you're going to want it, so you're going to put pressure on it. And it's not going to feel right. Every time you put pressure on it, you're going to feel something wrong. But you want it, so you're going to push for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So what do you think if we meditate for a few minutes on pressure?
Under pressure?
Under pressure?
You're pushing us?
With no pressure.
You're pushing us now?
True. Are you pushing me? You can go now if you want. No pressure.
Is it an obligation?
Not at all.
Choice.
In my busy day, I take a moment of reflection. Reflection on myself, redirecting the attention from the outer world to myself, my inner world, just for a moment, to try to see what's happening inside. What am I feeling at this moment? And what caused it? So I take a moment to breathe, slowly and deeply. Because when I breathe slowly and deeply, it sort of naturally removes pressure on my muscles and joints and shoulders. And even my mind. It even helps me to look at myself in a detached way. As a detached observer, I can observe myself in a situation that I am in. At this present time, moment and second. I can see myself as being in the center of the universe. And everything around me that is related to me, I'm involved with. I have an emotion for. My work, people I love, relatives, and even myself. I know that I am in a spiritual path to improve, get better. And even though I want things, I need things, underneath all that, I know that everything that's presented to me is for a good reason. The right reason. The accurate reason. So I welcome this change of point of view, of not blocking anything, but changing perspective on everything. Instead of wanting to control things, I'm welcoming things. My life is perfect. The universe is perfect. And everything that's happening to me is actually perfect. In a very, very deep way. So when I connect myself with perfection, I can embrace perfection. I can relate to perfection. I can see perfection. I can get influenced by perfection. I can see perfection in myself, perfection in future, and perfection in everybody around me. So what is my perfection? What is my idea of perfection? Me being happy, 100% peaceful and loving. And how can I experience that? How can I experience being 100% loving with myself and everybody that I will talk to today? What am I going to do to be 100% loving? How am I going to see them? How am I going to see these people around me? At work, on the street. What's going to be my vision of them? To be able to give them 100% love, pure love to them. Instead of wanting them to be perfect, I'm going to see them as perfect. And see the perfection in them. Perfection in the drama. In this big theater play in which we all live our life into. So I take a moment just to try to feel that experience for a few seconds, maybe a minute, to become 100% love and loving and loved. Om Shanti. Thank you for coming. It's always great to see you all. Very cheerful, very engaged. You know, it's always great. It's amazing.